Hi, everybody. Welcome to Talk with LarryC. I'm your host, Larry Christiansen. And tonight we're going to talk about rook sacrifices. Recently we've been talking about poison pawns, little pawn sacrifices. Now we're going to get to some heavy stuff. The heavy artillery, the rook sack, one of my favorite themes. And actually this is double rook sack discussion. And this is a very amusing example of the double rook sack, played way back in 1951 in a simultaneous exhibition by the renowned attacking player Nezh. And the funny thing about this virtually this identical game, almost move for fact, it is move for move, has been played subsequent to this game, notably by grandmaster Yusupov in a game, which I'll illustrate as well, and by other players. And this also goes to show you better do your homework when you play the openings like the Grunfeld defense. So I think and this is a good example also of the rook sacrifice. I always say in the opening, be very careful about grabbing stray rooks on undeveloped stray rooks on A1 and H1. The consequences can be deadly. Okay, here we go. Nezh, white. His opponent, Mr. Lusakal, victim in a simultaneous exhibition, a classic game, nevertheless. Nezh, white, conducting the simul. His opponent, Mr. Lusakal, the victim in this classic encounter back from 1951. You get a Grunfeld. Now, Bishop G7 is the usual move order, but C5 is also often seen. And here we see Nezh play Bishop B5 check. And here the circumspect move would be to play Bishop D7 or possibly Knight D7. But here Lusakal plays Knight C6. That's it looks to be tactically sound. After D5, now black can answer with Queen A5. I should point out if black plays A6, white can also respond Queen A4, utilizing two pins, pinning the pawn, reinforcing the pin of the knight on C6. That actually should lead to an advantage for white. But Mr. Lusakal played Queen A5. Looks like an adequate tactical solution to the problem. But now Nezh found Queen A4. So here, if black, of course, trades, white just wins a piece straight up. So he pretty much he must take on C3, only move. If Bishop D7, white can play D takes C6 and winning. So he took, and white plays King E2. And now black plays Bishop D7. He doesn't like the looks of Queen takes A1, and for good reason. D takes C6 with enormous threats. If King D8, trying to bail out white's attack is absolutely overwhelming, with his entire army fully aroused against that pathetic black king stuck on D8. So here Lusakal played Bishop D7. Nezh answered with D takes C6, BC. Now here, black's hope soon makes itself apparent. After Bishop takes, now he plays Rook D8. So now that if white plays Bishop takes D7, check, Rook takes D7. Now the Rook on A1's hanging, and if white plays the very naive Rook B1, black wins with Queen D3 check. And I should also point out here that if white plays Rook B1 immediately, black then wins with Queen D3 check, King takes D3, Bishop takes C6, discovered check, winning the queen and giving black a close to winning queenless middle game. And I think that exact sequence has occurred in modern times by lesser known players. Nezh found in the Simul, found the correct continuation, queen b3. So now, if black plays queen takes b3, white plays bishop takes d7 check, rook takes d7, ab, white's a safe extra piece ahead, winning easily. So black must take on a1. And now white develops, hits the rook on h8, and basically now black looks pretty cleanly refuted, but he now soldiers on with queen b1. So here this is a good spot. Now if white takes on d7 check, rook takes d7, and then answers with bishop takes h8, black is still alive, very much alive, with thanks to queen takes e4 check. And also after bishop takes h8, black is very much in the game. After queen takes b3, bishop takes d7 check, rook takes d7, ab, f6, and that bishop on h8 is trapped, giving black, even though he's temporarily pieced down, he has definite chances to hold this endgame, thanks to the trapped bishop. White wants a lot more than that. So what does he do here? Well, he focuses on development with knight f3, offering up that useless rook, undeveloped useless rook on h1. And now black must take. And what does white do to follow up? Does he slow down for bishop takes rook, or does he look for something better? Yes, he looks for something better. He focuses in on the f7 point, pawn, threatening mate in 1, totally forcing the response e6. And now we have a forced mate. Bishop takes d7 check, 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 finally worming his way into this position. King f6, queen takes f7 check, king g5, and now Nezh finished it off with knight f3 check, king h5, g4 check, takes, check, and mate. Nice mate. The bishop g3 is also mate. Now the funny thing is, when I noticed this amusing game, I also noticed that this had happened on several occasions, this exact sequence. Now, here's another example of this, more modern times, and this was played by the Russian-German grandmaster Artur Yusupov, played in the World Under-25 Championship. And the same thing happened. Artur had done his homework, played his queen b3, as Nezh had played, and now knight f3 offers the rook, and we have, voila, the same outcome, the same sequence, except here Mr. Morrison courteously resigned before Artur could deliver mate. And there are several other examples of this sequence. So Grunfeld players, beware, play bishop g7, don't play c5, and for gosh sake, don't mess around with pins as in this example. Okay, now we're going to talk about a great combination from one of my favorite players as a youth growing up. I thought his games demonstrated great logic and forcefulness and flair. And I'm talking about the Soviet grandmaster, Soviet-era grandmaster, Yefim Geller. Great 1e4 player, quite a renowned specialist with the King's Indian defense, and all-around expert in the Sicilian, both sides. And here was double king pawn. Just a really very forceful, great player with the white pieces as well. And here's a good example of his art, especially the final, near the final position. And we'll pick up the action here after black's 38th move, queen c7. This is a game played Kopfenberg, Germany, 1970. And here we see black horribly passive. He's got a real weakness on f7, but it seems adequately defended by his three majors. White's got Geller has piled up his majors. In addition, the bishop on c4 is actively engaged. So you know black is on the verge of defeat. You know, if this bishop could somehow come to e8, then maybe he has chances to defend. But here, watch how, I think it's very instructive how Geller puts this guy away. First of all, he plays h4. What does h4 do? It adds a little bit extra to the attacking arsenal. Now black has to be aware of moves like h5, so he responds h5 himself. Geller now improves the rook, shuts down the pin of the g-pawn. Now he may even elect to play g3, g4. He just tidies up everything before the final operation. Black's pretty helpless here. He just plays bishop c8, discouraging White from playing ever considering g4. And now Geller plays a little cat and mouse. Move 42 here. Black comes back again, and now comes back. Now he thought about the final how to finally put him away. King goes to h7. The only move, of course. King g8. Rook takes g6 check. Forces mate. So he must play king h7. And how do you put him away? You look at every conceivable violent forcing move, every little way to open that black king up. And Geller was up to the task, finding rook 4 to f5. Threatening rook takes h5 check here, I might add. Black's completely helpless. He can't move anything. What does he do? He has to take it. And that now gives Geller the opening for rook h6 check. King takes h6, sending the king on a quick walk to its doom. King g6, e takes f5 check. And here black resigned in view of king takes f5, queen takes h5 check, king f6, and queen g5 mate. Typical Geller, very forceful and creative in his attacking play, and a player I definitely recommend all my listeners to take a look at some of his old games, his old classic battles. He's one of my favorite players as a youth learning about attacking play. And that'll do it for today. And we're going to talk a little more about rook sacrifices in coming episodes, double rook sacks, full rook sacks. Some of the principles involved, things to think about, what to watch for, and some of the basic do's and don'ts of sacrificing rooks. That'll do it for today. Thanks everyone for joining me. Remember to, when in doubt, stay aggressive. This is Larry Christiansen. Thanks for joining me.